Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to be going through a very quick run through of the installer for the Omniverse Workstation. The workstation comes with its own built-in server and comes with a bunch of options that you can go ahead and employ. And this will let you get started with the Omniverse and start working with Omniverse Kit, Drive, Nucleus, Web, and of course the Connect tools. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is make sure that we've downloaded and have ready the Omniverse Workstation installer. I've already got it and it is sitting here on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and click it and we'll begin. Okay, now that the installer is running, we have a couple options on this first screen. The first option is to install the Omniverse. If we uncheck this and hit continue, nothing will be installed. So we want to leave that one on. Okay, great. Now, if we go to this advanced install, we get some additional options. And most users are going to want to go in here. And there's a main reason for that. This Omniverse Data is where all the data that goes onto your Nucleus server will be stored. This will grow over time and should not necessarily be selected as your C drive unless you have no other option. And the C drive is the default path. I would highly recommend anyone that's going to run the server to choose a secondary drive if you have one available. Ideally, it will be a speedy drive as well. So just be aware of that. This Omniverse Data does grow over time, and it is the location where all your projects, storage, folders, everything will go. Okay, now that we understand that, let's start from the top. The first thing we're going to need to know about is this Nucleus. In order for users to get a taste of the Nucleus without having to commit to a full installation of Nucleus and all of its components, we offer a partial stack Nucleus with the Omniverse Workstation installer. Be aware that this Nucleus does have some limitations, but does let you get started with the Omniverse and lets you try it out and see just how useful it can be to you. Please be aware, however, that this installer should not be used for large production environments, and instead should be used for small offices or for your own personal use. If you do want a full stack server, you can go ahead and go to the documentation, and there is plenty of information on how to set up a proper Omniverse server. For this tutorial, however, we are going to go ahead and leave the Nucleus checked on. The next option on our list is Kit. Omniverse Kit is the primary USD editing tool and should be left on for most users. This tool allows you to edit, manipulate, and manage USD files on your Nucleus Cloud server. Leaving Kit checked, let's move down to the web client. The Omniverse Web Client allows you to manage, move, delete, and edit files on a Nucleus server and does so through a web interface. The web client, because of all of its utility, should be left on for virtually all users. Next on our list is Omniverse Drive. Drive is a mounting utility that will take an Omniverse Nucleus server and mount it to your computer as a hard drive. This allows you to work with it just like any other hard drive on your computer. This is a very useful utility and again should be left on for virtually all users. Next on our list are samples. The samples allow for users to see some of the content that NVIDIA has developed inside the Omniverse and can be useful for learning or for using in your own projects. Note, however, that the mounting of the samples only works if you have Nucleus installed. If you have unchecked Nucleus, this will not install whether it's checked or not. Moving along to the installation path, this is simply where all the applications, services, and connectors will be installed and is generally A-OK where it is set to as default. These programs are not very heavy and should not really be too much of an issue on most modern computers. If, however, you do wish to put it on a separate drive, you can go ahead and do so by selecting this triple dot and choosing a drive location where you would like it to go. So feel free to move it to a secondary drive if that's what you would prefer. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at the default location as I kind of like it to be on my fast C drive. You, of course, can put it where you'd like to. Moving down slightly, we get to the Omniverse Connectors. Omniverse Connectors are plugins for host applications to connect to the Omniverse directly. Currently, in the Omniverse Workstation installer, we have the option for 3ds Max and Maya. When selected, it will search your computer for all available Maya or Max versions that are acceptable for the plugin and will install the plugin to each of them. You can use the three dots to select a specific version, just in case one of them haven't been found. If you do not have 3ds Max or Maya installed as a version which is available to the connectors, they will be grayed out by default. You can also choose to uncheck these in order to not install the connectors. I'm going to go ahead and leave these on, as I do have both of them, and I would like to make use of Maya and 3ds Max in the Omniverse. Lastly, we have Omniverse Data. In the Omniverse Data is going to be stored all of your data for your Omniverse, as well as all the cache files. This generally grows over time, and as I mentioned earlier, you should try to choose a drive that is ample in space and preferably high in speed. If you have an extra drive and you do not want to keep it on your C drive, you can go ahead and select the triple dots and again choose a drive that is more appropriate. Once you have the options selected that you wish, go ahead and select Continue to install as you've described. Upon completion, you get the option of opening the user guide and creating a user account on your localhost server. This localhost server option is only available if you have installed the Nucleus server. Let's go ahead and press the Finish button and see what happens. The first thing you will see is that you will get this option for creating an account. Let's go ahead and do so now so that we have at least an initial account created on our localhost server. I'm going to go ahead and create a test user just for my own case, since I already have users installed on my Nucleus. And I'm going to go ahead and create. Once created, you will then log into the Omniverse web, where you will be able to explore your Nucleus server. Once this is all complete and you're ready to start exploring the Omniverse, it would be a very good idea to go ahead and take a look at the Omniverse User's Guide. This User's Guide is available at docs.omniverse.nvidia.com. Feel free to explore and learn all about the Omniverse. If you're interested in more information on what got installed on your computer, please do check out Install Omniverse in the documentation and scroll on down to the post-installation walkthrough video. This is a good video to begin your journey, as it will show you all the different components that were installed and lets you get a good start on how to explore your Omniverse for the first time. Thank you so very much for watching this tutorial, and I do hope that it was informative and helpful in getting you started. See you in the post-installation video, and thank you for watching.